hold on, I'm coming home. All right, all right. You got 13 likes. We don't have our ritually one dislike. I'm waiting on that. But we in here. We are live. What is popping, everybody? You are muted. Touch your mic.
I am super excited for the guest today. She's a new friend. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. She's hysterical. She's brilliant. She's amazing. This is going to be a total curveball from what we normally do, but like that's
Random
what
as
we're all about. It's,
random as hell.
expect the unexpected from Rap Latte. But I've been wanting to have we had a lot of great conversations about Kendrick and hip hop with people who are in this culture. And I loved those conversations. And I also wanted to have conversations with folks who are not part of the culture the same way and hear what they
Okay.
have to say and like trade ideas with them, answer questions, like hear it from their idea. Because what do people who don't go to the same church, the hip hop church that we go to, what do they think about all this? I want to
Facts.
know.
Nah, I mean we've heard all the negative shit as far as like what people, you know what I'm saying, what they think. But maybe, it's definitely good to hear people outside of what you like to say, the purview, what they think about like the halftime show, who their favorite rapper is, what is going on right now. Like, and politically, this a question I have for you in general too. Is
Mm,
like when
mm,
we were talking about the meta commentary in rap being like a good
mm,
rapper has
mm.
meta commentary, I have a
Yes.
question of like, do we feel, because I have my thoughts on this, do we feel like we need more from our artists? We need more from them when it comes to content in times like these. Does it feel like we need that? Like this, did the party die, as Kendrick said?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my earliest relationship with hip hop is dealing with MCs and their political ideas. Coming up in the 80s, it was KRS, Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, X Clan. Lots of ideas were flowing around, and people had a real political spine. And the political vibe of the community, as far as revolution, liberation, that was reflected in the music. Even if you even if you didn't say it all the time, we felt that you were down for it, but there were definitely MCs who were talking about that stuff. And I loved that. We moved into a period which was a bit more that you might call like sympathy for the devil, right? Like we were
Mm.
saying, here's how mass incarceration and the war on drugs and the crack epidemic, because the crack epidemic and the war on drugs are two different things, and the war on drugs begins before the crack epidemic. Do the homework. We moved from that period to a period where the drug dealers were quite often on the mic, right? People were commenting about the war on drugs and the crack epidemic, and then it was like, no, I'm a dealer, and I'm here to tell you my perspective. And
Hmm.
it wasn't always tragic. It was sometimes quite like, I'm the shit because I'm the biggest friggin' hustler you've ever seen. Like, and in one way it was dope, and in another way it was like we ceded any notion of critique of that because we were like, I am of that. Um, so we've gotten away from political commentary for the most part. Every once in a while, you get a Kendrick, a Jay, a Cole song, maybe a Kanye song that makes some reference to politics and puts you up on game a little bit. But we're doing that a lot less than we used to do that as a culture. And I do miss that. And I do need that in a time when we're in a dictatorship, bro. Like right now, not like building toward it, but it's like on now.
Yeah, I mean the government is controlled by technically one man right now. So it's like, but
Yeah.
definitely one ideal. Even if it's not one man, it's one ideal that's being controlled. Which it's different. People like to say like, oh, it's kind of always been that way. Like America is this imperial country. Of course, it's imperial country, but this is different. Like you have a CEO in charge of this corporation right now. Like it's a real thing, and that's how they even framed it. So I agree with you in the sense that we definitely need to talk about everything. Like meta commentary, just commentary on. I don't even think about it as politics so much as just like literally talking about politics, because sometimes that seems like our politics, like American politics. I'm talking about the world at large, talking about your city, talking about your community, having something other to talk about than just yourself, and this individualistic perspective that usually exists in hip hop, where it's about just you and how great you
Yeah.
are and what we're doing. Like the community matters, and I think that's what is missing. It's just commentary on all of this.
No, it's dope when you can talk about your place in society, and it doesn't have to be a whole TED talk, but just you understand how you fit sociologically into the
Yeah.
situation and what you mean as a person who has a platform in the society. And that means so much to me when an MC can communicate that. You don't even have to talk about it, but just communicate it. Chuck D fully understood that he had a political power because of his platform and he used it. But Snoop
Hmm.
Dogg, Ice Cube, they're just talking about their reality becomes this socio-political conversation about.
Well,
I mean,
because
like
being black
today was
is that, right?
yes. Today was a good day is a political record because Black joy is political, right? And hard to acquire, especially in a difficult urban environment where the crack epidemic and the gangs and the war on drugs is going on.
Hmm.
So we can make political statements just from joy or self-care or a record about being a thoughtful father in a hip hop context is a political record, right? Because the notion of us and our fathers is all fraught, right? That whole conversation, even though statistics show that we are more present for our children than other racial demographics, right? That's a whole CDC study. Remember the
Hmm.
CDC? That used to be a thing, right? The Department of Education.
You
Remember
remember
that?
all
That
of
used to
these
be a thing.
things that used to exist?
Remember
And
democracy? That was fun.
everyone's so concerned with money, like in the music and in general. Everyone's so
Hmm.
concerned with money that all real things that have value have been lost, and that's what I'm realizing. That's so much, and that's a battle that artists have all the time about art versus commerce. But now, as human beings, just living in a society, it's like what matters. Like we think that like people worship dollars and money when when it's a tool to get you actual resources and things that are valuable. But people switch, and it's like no, the actual money is valuable to people, and I think that's what's the problem in hip hop too, because it perpetuates that concept too of like on some money phone shit. It's like, do you want a money phone or do you want an actual home? Do you want
Hey,
like do you want to be able to like provide things for your family, food? Like I know a lot of artists that the first thing they do is they get their first big check, you buy a car and you rent an apartment. And I'm like, so you bought this car and you're renting this apartment, you own no property. You just got
mm,
you just got
mm.
$500,000,
Get
and
land.
you wanted to just buy a car and rent the house because you're like got the high rise, the penthouse. Maybe you should own some property. Maybe that you should own something that's an actual resource or some type of value. So that's the thing
Look,
about
if you can
yeah.
acquire a passive asset, and you talked about this, I know you're up on the game,
Mm-hmm.
Green. If you can get something that will spit money at you when you are sick and lying in bed,
Yep.
that is the shit. And
Paramount.
now you can really take care of yourself and your family and start to, really live life when it's like I don't have to fight for every dollar, but some of them are coming to me without me having to fight for them.
That's facts. And that asset statement is exactly why artists
Are
are
you
selling their catalog.
are you
And
in the stock market? Like personally? Like do you buy stock?
yes, I stopped. doing like swing trading and like day trading, but I was in hard on that bitch during the pandemic. I was in there watching that shit, like going crazy. And I just kind of have a portfolio now.
I think that's another important way of raising up yourself, raising your money, boosting your money. Put some money in a big stock like Google or Apple, and then forget about it for 10 years. Right? You were doing a day trading shit. I don't fuck with that. I'm like, I got Google shares that are 20 years old. I got Apple shares that are 20 years old. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of having sank the money into the company for a long time. What?
No, the assets.
That makes sense.
My mom came up so big on Nvidia. Do you understand? Like she had Nvidia back like mid
That's a
2000s, my G.
that's a great buy. That's a great
Yes, that
long-term hold.
Nvidia shit was crazy. But yeah, but my biggest gains on anything has been crypto, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a crypto rapper. I don't know much.
Well,
Can
that is a
expect
game.
celebrities to be at the vanguard of the revolution. Artists, yes, but once you cross into the realm of pop culture, celebrity, and have a lot of money to protect, I agree with that statement. I think there is a certain type of integrity that comes with a certain type of person that will give back. But I think you get jaded as you get more money and more assets because I see it because people feel like you should do everything for everybody. And if you
Mm.
and then that makes the celebrity and the artist or the rich person, the businessman, entrepreneur feel as though like, I can't do everything for everybody. I do think it's funny that if you're a billionaire, it's like you ain't built no school. You a black billionaire. You ain't built not one school or some shit. Like I feel like if I'm at that point, I'm doing something with that money. I don't. I have a song called $1 million in the Bank. And then there's a line in it where I say, truthfully, I don't care about wealth. I just got bills like everyone else. I don't care. Like I would love to be comfortable, right?
You want freedom. You don't want to
I want
floss.
freedom. That's what I say. The song is about freedom. It's not a song about money. It's about freedom. It's about freedom because of what this trap they put us in. This capitalistic system is a trap. And I can't be a hypocrite and be like this person, that person, this person when we all are complicit in the system. So I see why it's you're in the fucking system. What can someone do? You have all this damn money. Now you have all this freedom and all these resources and all that, and then all these people are saying this is what you should do with this money. These people are saying this is what you do to your money. You are going to be pushed in different ways, and that's why young rappers buy cars and apartments, penthouse apartments. They're like, I gotta look good out here in these streets, so let me get this AMG. Boom, there goes 300K, and let me start renting out this penthouse, $15,000 a month.
Mom got to get a car.
Mom got to get a little car. You know what I'm saying?
You ever listen to what's that basketball Knuckleheads? That basketball podcast. Quentin Richardson and the other one from the LA Clippers, Darius Miles.
No.
And they would always ask people, when you got your first big check, what did you blow? What stupid shit did you buy? And it's like, everybody got to answer. Yeah, I bought 15 pairs of Jabot jeans. Yeah, I bought the super duper PlayStation system. Like they all blew the shit. Even if you didn't, and you went out and it's like, so I got dad a Rolls and I got mama this and I got not people don't be realizing that long NFL NBA money that don't last. That doesn't stay forever.
It should. Them contracts should stay forever. But if you over there blowing that shit.
No, if you're a super duper star for sure, although we can talk about that, most players are averaging what in the NBA, probably the average is probably like $1 million a year. I know, like I think the minimum is like 800 or $1 million. So the
What you talking about?
average
NBA
is
is a mil. Yeah.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum. That's the bench niggas getting $1 million.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of people making
At
two a year.
NFL's 500 or some shit like that.
Yeah, NFL career generally 3 to 4 years. NBA career generally 3 to 4 years. Right.
Rap
Most of the
career
guys are
generally
averaging
1 year.
Yeah, right? I mean, people are
6 months.
averaging a mil, 2 mil to averaging 2 mil. Like you could lose that if you buy shit based on I'm gonna make 2 million a year for years, and then you stop making 2 million a year. You got a problem.
This is what happens with artists, and I'm gonna relate it to something that I know about when Wayne Rooney was playing in DC United because I knew people like on the team.
I loved Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney was over there playing, and get us a little water. Wayne Rooney was playing for DC United, and he would like go places and buy shit, and the other players are making like $35,000 like a year. You know what I'm saying? It's MLS, it's American soccer, but this guy's worth probably like 100 million, and he's buying stuff, and people are like, "Yo, I can't go out to these dinners that you're going to. I can't do all this stuff." And that's exactly the same thing that happens with athletes in the NBA and artists. Like rappers are around other rappers, and it's like you might be on a song with Future and you just got signed and you just did a deal for 500,000, but people need to understand that that deal for 500,000 is your recording budget. It's also your advance, right? And then Future is going out there, getting the girls out here being toxic, and he's coming out the AMG. He lives in a $30 million house, and you want to try to compete with him because you're on a song with him. You can't compete with Future. You are not him. And that's what happens. Where it's like, I wish more of these young rappers came in the game with the perspective of this is exactly where I'm at, and let me talk about where I'm at and where I may want to be, but don't act like you're somewhere that you're not.
Yo, we got a nice super chat from Alec Chippy, Alec Hippie, who's come in many times. Appreciate that. Directly at me, how concerned are you about the attack on media by the current administration, specifically Black, brown journalists? And how do you view big media MSNBC firings as independent media of the future? Huge question that I've been thinking about a lot lately over the last couple of days. My friend Joy Reid has been let go from MSNBC. Today is her last show after, I think, 15 years, good 10 years, 11 years at the
Oh, I
network.
follow her on IG.
It's really sad. It's very scary. The administration is clearly trying to silence journalists who would critique them, pushing away the Associated Press, pushing away anybody who would actually provide serious critique and elevating people who would not provide any sort of serious critique. And you definitely feel like as an institution, he's trying to silence us. As individuals, he's trying to attack us. We have to be worried if we're going to be sued or fired or attacked. I feel like I have an imperative to keep talking and keep saying shit, but there is a voice in my head going, I wonder if I'm going to get like arrested or attacked in some way for speaking out in the administration. I just put out a bunch of TikToks over the last couple of days making the point very clearly. We are already in a dictatorship. We are currently, right
Yes, they
now,
got her fired. That's what we're saying right now.
in a dictatorship, right? Firing journalists, weaponizing the federal budget, controlling SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, controlling the legislative branch, controlling the military, controlling the FBI, shaping the media. How many more things do I have to say before you're like, fuck, yes, we are in a dictatorship. It's not supposed to be one person controlling everything. It's extraordinarily scary, and it's new, and we're still just newly getting into it. So I don't know how much fucking deeper this is going to go. I talked to two political scientists.
He's going to have another
on
term. I told
Saturday.
you this already, but he's going to figure out how to try to have another term.
That's exactly it. The two political scientists I spoke to said they expect him to be president until he dies. And he's already joking about maybe I'll have a third term. Like, oh my God.
It's crazy. It's crazy to go back to circle back to like artists. And I saw something in the comments where someone said, where like what's the place for like a artist when it comes to being it's like I don't know how much we can expect celebrities to be at the vanguard of the revolution. Artists, yes, but once you cross into the realm of pop culture and celebrity, they get lost. And I'm like, in this space that we are in right now, it's like we're all frogs, boiling in a
Yep.
pot,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and if people don't know that, frogs don't know that they're boiling, right? That's the whole idea, and it is up to people to challenge these ideas and status quo in front of the status quo, in front of this element, so people could try to think outside the box, so they can actually maybe follow someone who's actually an activist, not someone who is an artist, but an actual organizer or activist who has an option or direction to take us, which honestly, to me, I don't want to go full political. There's only one or two options we got. But the number one thing that we need to do is unify an idea against what's happening right now and organize against that. Because right now it's still splintered and people are talking about things like this is this and this is that. And their group is so ingrained with this philosophy from this MAGA side, this concept. Like, how do you love a politician? Like, think about that. Like, I love Trump. Like, people go around saying, I love. Why do you love? I didn't love Obama. I don't love any of these niggas. You love Trump? Like, think about the
I
word.
loved I loved Obama. I
That's
mean,
crazy to me.
if
That's
you want
crazy to me. Obama's
if you want to
cool.
get in,
He looked the part.
if you want to get into, I mean, I think that these folks are in the business of charisma, and some of them have it, and some of them, most of them don't. On a long enough timeline, you're gonna get a guy who, or a woman who, you're like, I love. There's certain politicians I love. I love Stacey Abrams. I love AOC. I love Bernie Sanders. I mean, like, and I'm talking about their ideas, not just their way. I think part of the problem with Trump is that they don't really like his ideas. They like his way. That he
They
is.
like him. Well, this is my point. You just said I love AOC, blah blah blah. You're being American general nice by saying I love it. You don't love AOC. I'm talking about people
True.
actually
Sure, I
freaking
do.
love Trump. Like they will
No,
do
I
anything
understand
for him
the obs-
unconditionally.
the obsession. You're right. The obsession about Trump, the making him your personality, these sort of things is extraordinarily frightening. Plus, we're in a world now where it's clear to people, if you are violent on his behalf, he will have your back. He will pardon you, probably before you even get to prison. So
Mm.
feel free to be violent on his behalf. That's frightening as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, this is the only reason why, like this time around, I was like, I knew Trump was going to win the first time, and I knew he was going to win the second time. But this time around, I actually was trying to actively talk about it and be like, hey, maybe this guy should not be in here. The first time, I just thought people were foolish and they were letting this in, but he went in there as a tyrannical human being. That's his personality, anyways. Figured out how the system worked and said, I'm going to come back and do this again, but the right way. Because the first time, it didn't do much. This time it seems like it's about to do some things.
No, you're right. That the first time, it seems like they were a bit Keystone Copish. They didn't really know what to do. They were kind of all over the place. It definitely seemed like ineffectual and bumbling. And now it's like they've returned with a bulldozer. We know exactly what to do. We're going to run you guys over, and you're never going to vote again. And like I'm definitely truly worried that we may not vote for president again for a long time.
That's just a crazy idea that and people are just going to continue to just go to work. I have a different type of personality. People are just going to continue to just go to work knowing that shit that they're under tyranny, like complete tyranny too, because you're complacent. And that's the thing. It's like if you're
People
complacent,
in
I'm
Russia and
eating.
Argentina, people in dictatorships got to go to work just the same. You think they have all day long to attack? I mean, the dictator will
No, but
create
you're
things
watching
that
it
make,
happen. Yeah, but you're
but you
watching
can't
it
do it.
happen.
Trump just on Friday night, he fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So he's going to control, I mean, he does control the military. If we start using the military against the American citizens to compel compliance, what the fuck do you do? How do you fight against the military?
The thing that we spent the most money on.
You know, and all your little not yours, all the little NRA peeps were like, yeah, I have a piece just in case the government gets out of line, and I got to put them. Like, where are you now, sir? Because we have tyranny now. What's up now? Where's
Yes.
your tool now?
Chat said, bruh, dictatorship don't stop these bills. That's what I'm trying to say about, like, those bills can stop. These are radical ideas. Those bills are there because we allow all the things that are there to apply this tyranny, something that we allow. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. We allow this to happen to us as a people. The whole idea of this country is that it's people first, and the people create and elect and create their own system, and it's supposed to evolve and change for the people's needs. That's just not something that's actually true. And we've accepted the concept that, hey, these people are in charge when they work for you. That's what it says on paper. This guy works for us. The president works for us. That's what it says. Like, all these people are supposed to work for us.
If the president won't follow the Constitution, who will make him? And right now we're seeing no one is willing to make him.
Yeah. And no one is, and that's why people haven't talked about, when we go back, bring it back to rap, because we on some political latte, but bring it back to rap. That's why people are afraid to talk about these things too, or say things even in songs, or they don't want to come up across as a hotep, like we say how Drake should have came at Kendrick, but they don't want to come across as a hotep. They don't want to hear all that blackity black shit, and they just want to have fun. This is what the people want. They want to talk about money. And that's how you destroy culture from the inside. That's how you completely take value out of things when you do that. And that's why you're destroying a country. It's the same relation, that the country's being destroyed in that way. Not that in a larger extent doesn't matter, or is inevitable anyways, right? The whole Rome wasn't built in a day concept.
Well, the notion of how long a democracy can last, and folks have been like, yeah, it's kind of hard to get
late-stage capitalism.
It's kind of hard to keep it going more than 250, 300 years. And we're like, oh, well, we're right around that. Wait a minute. We're right around that. Like, we're right around the expiration date for democracies. Holy shit. And the shit is fucking falling apart right in front of us. And the goddamn Republican Party is like, yeah, well, this is good for us. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
We got some I forgot what these are called already. Super chats. Aerial Smoke coming through again, as always. Thanks, Aerial Smoke. Both sides are FOS. OVO is 2020 MAGA. 2025 is funny. Yes, it is. Green wants to start he's basically saying OVO's like MAGA. Green wants to start a revolution. I'm here for it. Hey, man. I want to start the revolution. Matt Hemming. America has always been a work in progress. Right now, it's a battle for the soul of America, and how you resist it. How you resist is just as important as winning. What do you mean by that, though? Like, what does that mean?
No, winning is what matters. Stopping this is what matters. Returning to normal someday is what matters. I don't really care how. If somebody has to Luigi to get us there, so be it. I'm not fucking,
Somebody got a Luigi to get us there. That's what I'm saying. It's really the youth too, and that's what I'm saying. These YNs, they need to start clicking up. It's the youth that really, like, Tupac said it best. He said, like, you get in your 30s and your 40s, and you're just like, I've already done all this stuff. I'm complacent. I'm in this space, and the youth has the energy to actually get things done. Like, we could help organize. We could be there for guidance. We'll be a part of the whole situation. But it's really these YNs that need to understand what's going on. We got to educate the YNs, though. That's our job. We got to educate them and direct them, and they got to.
You said YNs. You meant yellow niggas or young niggas?
Young niggas. Yeah, I'm talking about specifically yellow
I'm
niggas,
like,
nigga.
I'm
That's
feeling
what
very hollow at right now. What
What the
did I
fuck?
do? I'm
Aren't
good.
you on
Why are you yelling
TikTok?
at me?
Don't you got like 400,000 followers on TikTok? You should know the young
More.
people language. You say, "Oh, I got more." This is what one of the biggest fumbles in American history. Not voting for an overqualified black woman,
Ooh,
Kamala Harris, instead of voting for an orange man. Yeah, I mean, we could
Cam
talk about it as a
Cobain.
we could talk about it as a fumble, but it's more so like this is not a fumble. This is a pick six, right? Like this, like a fumble, you might stop there. This is they took the ball and they got a touchdown. Like this is beyond fumble.
Yeah, there's a lot of blame to go around.
Yeah,
Democrats
but fuck all
fucked up.
y'all, man. I'm in Africa. fuck all y'all.
I mean, you're not. Are you trying to stay? You trying to move to another country? What's good?
You see me here. I gotta build the studio out.
My wife is like, I want to move to another country. I'm like, I understand that. I fully understand what you're talking about.
First of all, y'all motherfuckers is in New York. Y'all should move in general. That shit is expensive as fuck. That shit
Wow,
is crazy.
that is slander against the birthplace of hip hop. You better slow down, sir. We love New York. And I don't mean we, my wife and I, we do, but like I mean like New Yorkers love New York. There's a popular clothing line around here called New York or Nowhere, where and we rock that shit. And we're like, if it's not New York, I don't want to live anywhere else in America. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I love New York to fucking death.
New York State of Mind. I mean, in talking about New York State of Mind by
Nasir Jones.
Nasir Jones, which we got to dissect that song specifically, because I think that song is a precursor to completely what Kendrick has been doing in his whole career.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
Nas is absolutely for sure.
Specifically, that song. Though. I feel like that song it's like the third verse and Not Like Us. But I want to say, but that New York State of Mind is also the idea of the trap, that constant rat race and that trap that exists there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a crime when I'm in a New York State of mind is such an elevating, an enlightenment statement after hearing all the shit that he's talking about. He's saying like, I make this rapper monkey flip. All these things are happening, and you're like, wow, this nigga's in the streets. He's out here. He's cold as fuck. He's doing all these things, and he's the illest rapper. And he's like him saying, I think a crime when I'm in a New York State of mind shows you that it's not a glorification. It's like I'm trapped here. This is where I have to live. You know what I'm saying? Because who's the original New York State of mind guy? Billy Joel, is it?
Yeah, I think this is right. Yeah.
Billy Joel, it's like that's your song, Billy Joel. When I think of this shit, I think of fucking crime. Because this is all I have to live with and see.
Part of what I love in that song and that verse you're talking about, and we'll do a whole episode on it because we both love that song to death. He's telling a crime story, right? We're out in front of the building. Niggas be running in the block shooting, right? The niggas, once they caught us off guard. And so many rap stories are, I survived the tough moment. I was the tough guy. I knocked him out. I sunned him. I deboed him. And Nas is like, I was caught slipping. The gun was over there. I had to run and get it. Then the gun jammed. I had to run away again. And it's like, he's more, and that's who he is. He was not a big dog. Like Jay-Z, his whole point is like, I was a big dog. That's his position, right? We can never check it, but that's it.
But he's also expressing a reality.
Yeah, but Nas is not a big dog. He was a low-level, brief street pitcher. So he had to deal with like, yeah, we got caught slipping because we're not that experienced. We didn't expect the kids to run up on us. Yeah, the gun jammed because we had to buy a cheap gun because we had to keep up with, but we didn't have our weight up yet. Like, and it's dope to hear somebody telling these stories and they're not like, yeah, I fucking killed them niggas, but it's like, shit is hard out there. Guns jam, niggas be running
Exactly.
through the block shooting, like you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly, because it's like you're observing it and you're in it and you're expressing the positives and negatives in it, or just the duality of it all. You know what I'm talking about? So
Mm.
we got a little super chat. We don't want to go fully into that because we definitely want to do a whole episode on that song. Um, Hit the chat if y'all want to hear a whole episode breakdown of that classic. But Gory Fantod says, I'm a radical. Capitalism and white supremacy are intrinsically linked. Liberal
Yes.
reformism has failed. Obama was the avatar of the failure to educate. I agree with everything that he says, and I'm more than a radical, so I completely agree with you. I'm damn near an anarchist. So
Wait, do you vote?
do I vote? I have voted. I vote, yes.
Wow. But you're
I'm not a
against,
I'm
are you
against the
against the
concept
system?
of voting. I'm
You're,
very against the concept and
wait, what do
and
you mean you're against the concept of voting? What does that even mean?
because the system of voting is flawed. So I think that it needs to be changed.
Because we don't count every person. You mean
Yes.
the
I
way
think the
that the
electoral
system
college
is,
is ridiculous.
yeah, yes, and you mean the way that
So
it's
why are
hard
we
to register and you someplace you need like,
the entire system of voting is 100% flawed and it could be solved in a week, but it's built like that on purpose. It literally could be solved in a
yeah,
week. You
yes,
could
yes,
force encrypted apps to make niggas vote on their phone and we would have way higher numbers of voting, but they don't want everyone to vote because it doesn't make
right,
sense. It doesn't make sense for
right.
everyone. If we could vote like we could vote on, like we could open up Instagram and say there's there's probably like 600 million people on Instagram. No, in this country I think it's like 200. But anyways, I might be completely off on that. But anyways, if everyone could vote, uh, because I was thinking about the people who aren't actively on the app. If everyone could just vote on their fucking phone in some encrypted site, you would have everyone 18 and over voting. The problem is, people think
Yeah.
that Kanye might win. Like some random person might win with that type of access
Gotcha.
to voting.
Wait, did you vote in 2024?
Yeah, of course. I just told you that was the only time that I felt like I had to like let's
Did
get
you
this
vote in
going.
2020?
No, I didn't vote in 2020. Mm-mm.
And you didn't vote, and do you vote in 2016?
Oh no, I voted 2020. Didn't vote 2016. I didn't vote the first Trump.
Mm,
I didn't vote
mm,
first Trump, and I voted for Obama the first time, and the second time I was like, I don't need to vote. Nigga gonna win again. Fuck, I need to vote
mm,
for.
mm.
Fuck, I need to vote for a nigga that's gonna win the second time. And then Trump, I was like, and in 2020, I was because it was ballots. That was easy. I was like, whatever. Get that nigga out of there. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, you mean it was a paper ballot that you could do at home?
Yeah. So it was
So
mad
you want
easy.
more? You want an ease of voting? I mean, yeah, for
No,
sure, for
I
sure.
don't want an ease of vote. I mean, I want an ease of voting I want the system to completely be changed of voting. That's what I want. For me
Yeah,
personally, because the shit is flawed and it doesn't really matter even statistically in the places that I've voted. Like I'm talking about this real. Like people like to say things and talk about these ideas of voting, right? But I'm talking about actual numbers and statistics. Like if I'm in a completely liberal place, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like like I have the numbers of what it actually matters in probability wise. I'm just talking about that. And then beyond that, that's just a statistical thing. Beyond that, now moving out from that space, we have a electoral college system that makes no damn sense. You have voter suppression. I was taken off the ballot. I had to fight to make sure that I was on the right fucking ballot when we did the what's it called?
yeah, paper ballot.
The fucking Joe Biden shit. They said, well, I was in
Hmm.
Miami when I moved to Virginia. I was like, nigga, I'm in Virginia. They were like, nah, you in Miami. I was like, look at my license. Look at this. So
Did you change your voter registration?
yes, and that's how but they had me still as Miami. So that was a whole
Do
actually
you feel disenfranchised by the Electoral College?
I don't feel disenfranchised. I am
You
disenfranchised.
Fair, fair,
I
fair,
don't
fair.
feel.
No, no, I get you. You are disenfranchised by the electoral college.
Yes,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I
and
understand that. I
by
have a lot
voter suppression.
for sure.
And because I was living in Florida, they were trying to shut me up in Florida. They're like, you can't vote. They were trying to shut me up because I was in Florida. That's exactly what they were trying to do. And Miami was such a politically strong possibility of it switching back in the day. Now it's all everybody's a freaking idiot over there, and now they're switching up. Like you see, Kodak Black was in the White House, right? Did you see
Oh, that was
that?
so gross. That was
But
so
did you also
gross.
see Kodak Black? He was on the street and he was like high, like as hell, and that's why Kanye said he was gonna fly over there. And I'm thinking that he's not all right. I want the guy to be good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's going through, and I want to make sure that's a mental health issue if you're in that space. But then you see him at the White House, and I'm like what is actually going on in everybody's brains?
You have to take a cultural punishment for rocking out at the Black History Month celebration for Trump. Like that, like you have to be punished culturally, and nothing physical. But I mean, like some sort of cancellation. We reject you. I'm not fucking with you, Kodak Black. Like that is so fucking whack. Like, are you fucking serious? Are you freaking serious? Hanging out like see, you can't do that. Snoop too,
Facts.
Nelly too. Fuck it, like all that shit. Like we ain't doing that.
We got
The
a
fuck you
live.
talking about?
We got another
Super chat.
super chat. Yeah.
Super. What's it say?
Toure and Green, do you know about the SAVE Act? This is going to be awful. Also, how about we give U.S. colonies their full rights and allow them to vote in elections in Congress? You stalking? That's you
I mean,
spitting on that last one.
I mean,
How you
for
part of the
sure,
U.S. and you can't vote?
100%, 100%. Puerto Rico should be able to vote. Washington D.C. should have electoral college votes. You know, they're disenfranchised. I mean, there's all kinds of problems in our system for sure. Yeah, I want Puerto Rico to vote. The only thing holding these things back is the Republican Party. That they don't want to expand to more black and brown people voting. That's the problem. That's the nut of the whole situation there. Um, I honestly don't know about the
Some
Save Act. So
I don't
good
know about
shit.
the Save
Good.
Act.
You know.
Somebody super chat us and explain what it is, but or just write it in the chat. Someone said something about what about your local elections that feed the people in DC? I understand and believe and understand the reality of local elections because and I used to even go to like my town halls and my county shit and like that. It's like you want to fix a fucking pothole on the main street, you got to go to that shit, and that's how that works. That makes sense. You know why? Because your vote matters. You go to this shit, your presence, your vote matters, and no one's at your door telling you, "Hey,
But
for Counselor 217 or whatever for this precinct, you can't do it because you actually live at this address and blah blah blah." Like they're not suppressing you in that way. But go ahead.
But you're reflecting part of the process that I think sometimes is lost. That voting is part of our relationship as citizens with government. You also need to speak to your elected officials, go to a town hall or call their office and let them know what you want. So it's not just, I want you, but also, here's what I want you to do. And they need to hear your voice sometimes telling them loudly or politely or not what you want them to do. So when you're like, I went to the town hall because that's part of the process, you are doing the whole civic engagement thing and not just voting and expecting them to do your shit. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like do more than just voting.
You got to do more than just voting. And someone said, um, like I remember I lived in a town called Reston, and Reston is not a regular town because it's actually like a corporation. It has an association, so you have to go to the
Yeah.
association meetings for things like that. And when I lived in that town, I would always go to those, and I would know there was a CEO of the association, and he's the one that like made sure there was. I lived in like a high rise, and they wanted to redo the grass. Like it was all cement outside the high rise in this like midtown park, like a New York esque type park, and they wanted to make it grass, so you had to go to the association and vote for it. So I went over there and voted shit because Because I'm green. I want some fucking grass outside. You know what I'm saying? Put some damn grass outside there. And I was making
I'm
videos.
green. I like grass.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what I'm
pro
saying?
grass.
I'm pro grass. So, and that made me kind of understood the whole process and understood the culture and the value of my town and how I could do something. And someone said, "Oh, so you'll do all that, but then you won't vote for the president." Um, the times that I told you that I didn't, yeah, it didn't fucking make any damn sense. It didn't make any sense. Like certain things, you were going to lose
It,
or win anyways. It's like,
I think
what are we
that
talking
it's
about?
important. I think it's important to go and vote, even if you think that the outcome is predetermined. I think that it's important to be there, to be part of the process,
I think we're
no
getting
matter what.
into okay. I could understand that. I'm not going to I, I'm not going to combat that. I'm not going to go politic latte fully, even though this has been complete political latte. But I won't combat that. I won't
But
combat
we're
that.
in the, I mean, it should be political latte right now, and it's not going to become that every day, but we're in the midst of a constitutional crisis. And we're in the midst of America
Yeah,
being in a very difficult point in its history where we may have permanently lost what has made America what it is. And that's on my mind, and it's definitely on some of the chat's mind. So the questions keep coming up from us, from chat. And like, I think the show speaks organically to what's going on in the world and what's going on in our minds and what's going on in the mind of the chat.
yeah,
And this is what's coming out from all of us. I spent the whole weekend making TikToks trying to explain to people we're in a democracy. We're in a dictatorship. And like
dictatorship. We are
I
in a
really
democracy.
we're in a dictatorship. And you have to be reminded it's supposed to be a democracy. And I'm dying to do something deconstructing euphoria because I did a whole Not Like Us series and people loved that. And I'm like, so you really want to understand Not Like Us, you also got to look at the beginning of euphoria, right? That slower part helps explain what's going on in Not Like Us. But I can't
Yeah,
even get to that because I got to keep reminding y'all and telling y'all and pointing out different ways. So it's not liberal rhetoric. It's not the libs are going crazy and trying to make him look bad. This is the political science situation that we have fallen into. And we have to recognize that before we can actually combat it.
yeah. I mean, all of the things that go into that, like when you think about euphoria, going into Not Like Us, and you think about how people consume content in general, those things are the reason why, like, let me get let me go. I'm also trying not to go back into the full on vote not vote thing. There's media corruption, right? There's media, like,
What do you
what's
mean
happening right
media
now.
corruption? What do you mean media corruption? You mean media is being corrupted by the Trump administration?
Exactly, but not just the Trump administration. Oligarchs, tech companies, the media companies themselves will have an agenda and push a certain thing, right?
Okay,
Not just
okay.
this is not the first time everyone's on brand and says, okay, this is how we need to talk about something, and then they may be wrong, and how the media may be wrong about that. And what I'm saying is that that's how people are not really understanding what the problem is, because they're able to be divisive. You're able to say that Drake still won the battle. You're able to say that the liberals are
Mm,
just complaining because of how media works
mm,
now. And I'm saying it's been corrupted. All of it is become traditional media. Social media is gone. It's now interest media, and interests have nothing to do with fact. Interests are just your interest. It's just
mhm.
it's not about even it's not about every all your friends and everybody is just here collecting and talking about their lives and sharing avocado toast pictures and their cat. It's now everyone's sharing their interests, and a lot of it is political interests, and that has been pushed by Facebook, by Meta, because that's better, by Meta, by Amazon, by this administration and administrations before it. We got to really recognize that these companies who are standing behind Trump are the reason why he is there. Like, we act, I don't know why no one wants to like say that shit. Mark Zuckerberg is literally the reason why Trump is in the office. People People,
He's part of it. He's part of it. Don't forget
no,
about
people
Putin.
blame
But he's part of it. He's part
no,
of it.
people blame Cambridge Analytica like they the ones that created Meta and Facebook. They allowed that shit to happen. They created that system to allow that shit to happen. Like, why do we if you take away the non-boundaries of being able to sway people politically like you could on Facebook, that would not happen. That's because the Facebook system was built that way on purpose. Like I feel like people don't give him enough credit. The guy's sitting next to him right now. The guy said, "Yo, that was badass." After he got shot, we're talking, and the guy I'm talking about is Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that loves Snoop Dogg, grew up on freaking like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre and shit like that. This is my age is going around here worth hundreds of billions of dollars controlling media and controlling how you think about things and trying to act as if things are free now and you can say whatever you want. I can't type tell me why Trump's a fucking idiot in Chat GPT without saying no, you can't do that shit. Like,
that's crazy. That's insane.
So think about that shit. So where's this freedom of speech shit that everybody's talking about? And that's why when Kendrick, when people, let's talk about this. The Kendrick halftime show, there's been people on the liberal side that we talked about that are like, he didn't do enough and he isn't actually a revolutionary. And then the response, I've seen a comedian's response who said, entertainment will never be your salvation, which I love that statement. Like, entertainment is not going to be your salvation. It can save you. There's people who listen to songs and be like, this song saved my life. But that's has nothing to do with actual political and salvation from chains. So the statement of that, where I was going with that is that, because I forgot where I was going with that. Just the revolutionary ideas of you being able to do, of being controlled by all these media. How is Kendrick in a space that we are in supposed to be like, fuck Donald Trump, and we need to tear this down, have 30,000 flags of Gaza and Sudan, and just be super direct and do it? You think that's gonna be capable? The nigga has to do this. You live in a dictatorship, just like you said. He is actually trapped. All of you guys are trapped. You guys can't say certain things on the internet. We have to say PDF right now, or we are trapped by our monetizing and capitalistic system. We are trapped by it. We feel like, no, I can't do that because I might lose my job. I can't do that because of this. I can't rap about this shit because no one's gonna listen to it because it's not gonna make money. Someone said a great thing about this too. It was a rapper, I forgot who it was. It might have been Lucky. He said, rap, he goes, there's lanes you could go to in rap. There's lanes you go to where if you follow that lane and you keep working at it, you're probably gonna be successful. When you try to create your own lane, that's the hardest fucking thing in the world because there is no opportunity for that. Like, look at how hard it took Tyler, the Creator, to get where he is, but he's always been talented, right? He had to create this entire world for himself for it to go through. Whereas, like, if I put on a chain and I look the part and I make some trap music, it's probably gonna go a little bit quicker than the album that I'm working on right now called How to Rap in America. Like, it's probably gonna go a little quicker because people are like, oh yeah, he's a rapper. Oh yeah, I get that song. I know where to put it on the playlist. I know what playlist it belongs on. I know where to play in the club with DJs to have it. And that's the same system that is controlling us on a political level. It controls you in your media. It controls you on your interest media, on all these places. So it's hard out here if you really want to be actually against the system because it's all in place and all against you. But yeah. I lost myself a couple times over there, but I cooked a little bit. I cooked a little bit, chat. Let me know if I cooked a little bit.
You cooked a little bit for sure, no doubt. Look, I'm having a whole thought right now because our guest is in California, and apparently what I said, 2:00 New York time, that did not fully
Oh, I'm wondering
compute
where she
into
was
my
at.
schedule. So she is doing something because she thought I meant 2 p.m. PST, which I did not. So we're gonna work on another time. I feel like we told the folks somebody's coming and they're not coming, but now, but
Yeah.
that's there was that sort of confusion of what's going on. Um, I feel
You got
like
to tell
we
those
should.
West Coast people Eastern Standard Time, man. They
I
really
know, I
they need
know,
that
I
info.
know.
I
I feel
speak
like
in
we
East Coast,
should,
so
for sure. No, I feel like we should
change the
pause.
thumbnail. That's what we should do.
Well, we got to change the thumbnail for sure. But we get yeah. You could put Trump on the thumbnail after all this political rap latte. But
Screwface.
we should pause this because I actually want to do the whole Nas episode you're talking about. I'm like, let's do that now. Like, let's reset and do it now.
You want to do it now? All right. You want to do it live with the people, or you want to do it?
I would do it with us and then hit it on them so they know like
All
we
right.
friggin' put everything into it.
For sure. For sure. For sure. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. We just had a ill political latte. You know what I'm talking about? It was pretty
Oh wait,
dope.
hold on. Alec is back. That's why Kendrick's halftime was amazing. It said a lot without being obvious. Those who get it, get it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And
And
that's kind of
Screwface.
how artists are going to have to talk during this era because it's not going to be that you just are like, fuck Trump. Like, they'll be like, nah, we ain't having that, which is bizarre.
Yeah, it's not. We ain't having that, and they're gonna try to suppress it, right? And then they have the fan base to be like, "Oh, this is stupid," and then make there's a whole fan base to attack you. You know what I'm saying? It's not just we're gonna shut your shit off. They're gonna attack you in every way that they can. But you shouldn't be afraid. As an artist, I would say that you should not be afraid of saying what you need to say. Just got here. Is Kathy Griffin about to be on here? Shout out the best podcast out right now. Screw,
Oh,
thank you as always. We gotta have you on this week sometime, man. We gotta talk to you. But we're gonna be out. We're gonna do this breakdown of Nas, and we'll be back with y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining us. We out.